Good Tuesday morning. I'm Mike Garrigan. Aaron Wilson is here too for our first Fastcast of this Tuesday. And of course, we have to start off with weather. You are here at the News Now desk because this was affected by the storms earlier, and you were here for it.
Got here just after 1 o'clock this morning, and I know a lot of folks probably watching right now got up early because of the loud thunder, the lightning show. It was incredible. The lightning was wicked, though. We took a big hit here at WIFR, and I'm not joking, Mike. The hair has started standing up here. You could feel the floor vibrate. So, yeah, there's a lot of damage that happens with those types of things electronically. You can well understand. So, joining you here at the News Now desk, and glad to do it. And we've got a lot to talk about because we still have some severe warning storms that have been playing out. One was in Walworth County for us. Still going to go on here for another 30 minutes or so. We had one earlier in Ogle County as well. That did produce quarter-size hail. So, trained weather spotters spotted that in Mount Morris. So you think about a quarter-size hail, that does some damage, and that's why we've been trying to first alert you here since yesterday to the potential of seeing these strong and severe storms play out. They're moving slow. Generally this morning, they've been moving to the north and east about 30, 35 miles per hour.
Let's check out the back storm track and put it up there.
Let's take a look at it. Yeah, and this is one of those great features you can get at WIFR.com and by downloading the First Alert Weather app. Not only will you have the radar picture that you can interact with, you can zoom in, you can zoom out, you can put your settings on there, but you'll also get the latest watches, warnings. And this morning we had a lot of special weather statements. And I know there were some trampolines that got flipped over up in Rockton. We had some strong winds come through after the storms actually pushed through. Strong area of low pressure developed in southern Wisconsin. It brought with it then southwest winds behind those storms that were anywhere from 40 to 50 miles per hour. So again, as we head into the afternoon, we're not completely out of the woods just yet. Severe thunderstorm watch that goes till 5. That is for DeKalb, Lee counties, and then on off to the south and east. That's not to say if you're not in the watch area, you can't see a warning. We've already seen that play out this morning with Ogle and Walworth. But again, what we'd be looking for is the potential of that large hail, strong winds, heavy downpours, and the lightning has truly been no joke.
And it was our garbage day today, and we saw some very heavy garbage cans just blown all over throughout the neighborhood as I was driving to work. So it has affected a lot of people. There's still some things to worry about. And again, this is a key about getting that weather app, the First Alert weather app, because at 1 o'clock in the morning, it comes in very handy.
Yes. And we had a lot of those storms earlier on last night before midnight even that came through during those evening hours, a critical time for a lot of folks. So, great to have weather on the go with the First Alert weather app.
Okay, thanks so much.
Good
and
to see
of
you, Mike.
course, the weather team will be here all day. We'll do it on the Fastcast. We'll do it on our broadcast, and we'll cut in if necessary. All right.
Absolutely.
Thanks a lot, Aaron.
Sounds good.
All right. Now we're going to talk about our top news story on this day. And an Illinois bill would expand spaces like Rockford's Family Peace Center and keep communities across the state safe. State Representative Maurice West created the Family Justice Center Act. If passed, it gives cities, counties, and nonprofits the power to create centers supporting survivors of domestic sexual violence, stalking, and human trafficking. The bill would also set requirements for center operations like survivor consent and confidential policies. WIFR's Nathaniel Langley dives into how Rockford could serve as a model for the state. So watch that on our shows later this afternoon and into the evening. But now we stay with state lawmakers for today's Issues segment, and a new bill heads to the Senate Revenue Committee, introduced by local state Senator Dave Severson. According to him, Senate Bill 2763 aims to help the business climate of Illinois in general and small business owners specifically. And besides, he says it's just a matter of fairness.
But one of the issues that are really affecting small business is the area of health care.
But 35th District State Senator Dave Severson says the bill he introduced will help.
It's never a fun subject to talk about, but it's the fastest growing expense for small business.
Senate Bill 2763 focuses on reducing the cost of health insurance for individuals and small business owners who purchase coverage on their own by allowing taxpayers to deduct premiums and qualified out-of-pocket medical expenses on their state taxes.
If you work for the state of Illinois, your health plan only has a $325 deductible, and your premium for a single employee is $188 a month. That's what a government employee is going to pay for their health insurance. And they get to deduct that whole $188 off of their taxes. However, if you're an individual in Illinois and you're going to have to purchase your own health coverage. The average policy has a $4,000 deductible, and the premiums are between $650 and $1,200 a month for just an individual. And the state of Illinois says, yes, it's expensive, and we're not even going to allow you to deduct it.
While government and large employers offer health insurance, only about 30% of small businesses are able to provide health benefits to employees.
In Illinois, if you work for the state government, the premiums you pay are deductible. If you work for local government or a school district, the premiums that the employee pays is deductible. If you are a state legislator, if you are a government employee, the premiums you pay are deductible. The only ones we don't allow to deduct the premiums are struggling employees who work for small employers that don't offer health insurance. They have to pay these large premiums, and they do not get a chance to even deduct it.
This proposal by Severson has just reached the Senate Revenue Committee, and as a pro-business tax reduction bill, there are limited public high-profile arguments against it at this stage. Some potential arguments or pushbacks may come from his own party. Some fiscal conservatives may consider it a targeted benefit, focusing on specific taxpayers rather than providing broad universal tax relief. There also may be concerns raised about the impact these deductions have on the state budget, specifically how a loss of tax revenue may impact the current revenue levels.
We have no pride of ownership on this. This package can be added to any final budget bill. The total cost of all of these things to help small businesses is less than what one incentive package we give to one large employer coming to Illinois. So we're not talking about a huge amount of money, and the investment will clearly be returned. And so there is time to get this done.
And coming up on our Thursday issue segment, two local leaders are among four speaking in Springfield this week to detail a multi-billion-dollar economic impact on the state's child care crisis. We'll hear from Rockford's Southwest Ideas for Today and Tomorrow Board President Rudy Valdez, as well as Dixon Chamber Executive Director Amanda Wyke, about a new report released looking into the child care insufficiencies for working parents in Illinois. Again, that's coming up on Thursday on our issue segment. Well, back to some local and national news. New developments in the suspect. We'll go here. In the suspect accused of shooting and killing Charlie Kirk. His lawyers claim the fatal bullet may not match the gun that was allegedly used in the crime. In fact, Tyler Robinson faces aggravated murder charges and has not yet entered a plea. Robinson's defense claims in an ATF report summary that the agency was unable to identify the bullet recovered at autopsy to the rifle allegedly used. Prosecutors intend to seek the death penalty, and experts say the report is not unusual.
It is sometimes difficult to match bullets that were recovered at autopsy with bullets that are associated with a defendant's gun. And that could be based on lack of evidence and lack of markings on those bullets.
Thousands of school bus workers reached a tentative agreement with First Student. The deal comes after 88% of Teamsters union members voted to approve a strike last week. Union leaders say the new deal creates stronger retirement, health care, and contractual protections for all members. The union's current contract was set to expire Tuesday. First Student said no one benefits from a strike or a disruption. South Beloit Fire will officially get full responsibility of its fire and emergency medical services from the town of Beloit Tuesday. Today, the transition comes after Brian Coons took over as fire chief. Current South Beloit Fire Department keeps a minimum of 3 staff members on duty 24 hours. Now the department plans to enhance service capacity and open part-time positions as well. As millions travel for spring break and Easter, we're looking at the safety of electronic devices and battery packs during flights. And battery fires on planes are a growing problem. In fact, Airlines are concerned, and some carriers are now limiting their use. Chris Van Cleve visited an FAA research center where they're trying to improve safety.
Dramatic cell phone video of a fire burning in the overhead bin on an Air China flight last October. The airline says a lithium battery stored in a passenger's bag spontaneously caught fire.
We got a mayday, mayday, mayday. There's a fire in the back of the aircraft. Start the fire rescue.
And in 2024, San Francisco firefighters rushed to handle this burning battery.
Flight attendants are incredibly concerned about lithium batteries because they're a part of our workplace every single day. We do need to have better tools. We need to have as much focus on this as possible.
Work to do that is happening inside this lab in Atlantic City. The FAA is studying exploding lithium-ion batteries. This test, focused on luggage, is part of a larger series looking at battery fires in the overhead bin. Inside the bag, a power bank in thermal runaway, a chemical reaction resulting in uncontrollable overheating of the battery, sparking a fire that burnt hot enough to melt our cameras. Now think about that fire in the cargo hold of an airplane. That's why airlines don't want lithium-ion batteries in your checked bags.
It is the worst thing that could happen on an airplane.
Robert Oakes is overseeing the testing.
So what we're looking at now is there a safer place to put these, and can we develop guidance based on that?
If you're on the plane, what do you do?
So if you notice that your device is, say, overheating or getting hot to the touch, it is starting to swell or smoke, immediately call the flight attendant and they will fight that fire. And our guidance is to use water, as much water as possible, to cool the batteries.
The number of fires is rising. The 96 last year account for about 14% of the incidents over the last 20 years. Most have been caused by battery packs and vape devices. The researchers showed us how dangerous a power bank fire can be in the cabin. Look at how fast this seatback goes up in flames as the fire burns at over 1,500 degrees, as potentially toxic fumes and thick smoke fill the air.
It will burn very hot and very intense. It will set adjacent materials on fire very quickly.
Several foreign carriers have banned flyers from using power banks during a flight. Southwest Airlines has some of the strictest battery rules among U.S. carriers, requiring portable chargers and spare batteries to be with the passenger in the cabin and, when in use, be visible to crew members. CEO Bob Jordan.
The main thing here is we're getting in front of any safety issue, and I feel comfortable not only that we're doing the right thing, but that other carriers will adopt our standards.
So far this year, there have been at least 9 verified battery incidents on planes in the U.S. Another 6 are still under investigation, 8 of them on commercial airliners, most involving power banks. In those cases, flight attendants responded with water and then put the devices in a containment bag that's kept on board. Chris Van Cleve, CBS News, Phoenix.
Dish Network customers lost access, of course, to WIFR 3 weeks ago today on March 10th. That blackout will last until a renewal agreement is reached. Dish customers no longer have access to all the great CBS programming, including WIFR. Dish demanded a new provision, which Gray Television, our parent company, says violates industry norms and federal law. Gray remains willing to strike a deal without that controversial provision, but warns it may pursue legal action for damages if the standoff continues. If you are a Dish customer, you can help make sure the shows and news you love will come back to their lineup. Just contact them at 1-800-333-3474. It's the number you see on your screen right now. Of course, WIFR is always available for free by antenna. You can also see our newscast by downloading our free streaming apps for Android, Roku, Fire, and Apple TV.